Buenos dias, mi gente. I'm gonna take you guys with me through a little morning day in the life. I want to show you guys some of my rituals and habits. So I did end up waking up a little bit later today. I was supposed to wake up at 6 because I went to bed at 2 and it's about 8. And so I got about 6 hours of sleep. So that's why I let myself sleep in a little bit longer. But we do need to get our day started because we have things to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and wash my face, do my face routine, and then I'll pick you guys up. As I'm getting ready, I want to talk to you guys about just some things that I do every day on an everyday basis. But one of the things is clean my kitchen and my room. I absolutely cannot go throughout the day just seeing my kitchen dirty or just waking up and seeing that I have a mess in my room. So that's absolutely one thing that I love to do every day when I wake up. Like I mentioned in another video, like your habits are everything. And so if you can't even do the smallest habits of doing the dishes when you wake up, taking the trash out, or just keeping your space clean, it makes a huge difference, you guys, especially for your mental health. I feel like for me, it just makes my head not chaotic, if that makes sense. And so every day when I wake up, I just try to dedicate at least 5 to 10 minutes to cleaning up the house, you know, whether that be dishes, taking out the trash. Again, I feel like how you do anything in life is how you do everything. I live by that saying, and I'm talking to myself because I feel like a lot of the times in the past I would kind of take shortcuts here and there with certain things, and then I would take shortcuts with my health. I would take shortcuts just with things that I didn't need to be taking shortcuts in. And so I'm a firm believer that how you do one thing is how you do everything. And I'm a huge believer in affirmations and just speaking what you desire out into the universe, because I feel like it really does. The power of the tongue is so real. So I don't know if you guys see this right here. It's like a page that I got out of this book, and basically it just says there are no handouts in life. There are no favors. Like, you have to hustle for what you want in life. And it's so true, because you guys know that I've always shared ever since I was 8, I started working at my dad's restaurant, and I love making my own money. I love being able to work. I love being able to just help people. Honestly, that's the reason why I even started working, was because I love the feeling of being able to help somebody else with, you know, whatever I was doing at the time, which at the time I was hostessing. And so I loved like just seeing how you could read people's body language, and how you could, you know, greet them, how you could sit them down, pay attention to certain things and details of, like, you know, your server will be right with you. And I was young, so it's like customer service and just helping people and being a servant, like, really does show up, I feel like, from such a young age. At least for me, that was my that applied to me. And so another thing that it says is that don't let fear hold you back. I feel like I talked about this in another video, that sometimes fear will be the number one thing that holds us back so much in life. And so recently, you guys know that I'm always having these epiphanies in life, but recently I just had to have like a really hard epiphany when it came to life, when it came to just making money as an entrepreneur. And I feel like a lot of the times I was playing small, or asking for pennies, or just undercharging because I don't know why. There's no reason. Like, I just was undercharging. And so a lot of it just had to do with the way I looked at money, and the way that, you know, I was just always thinking like, oh, you know, save money for a rainy day. And some of it was from like childhood thoughts and things that I heard. But a lot of the times, like, you have to reframe your brain, and at some point you have to rewire your brain and say, you know, your childhood thoughts and what you were raised up on is not you, and you have to change it. And you have to decide, as you come into your adulthood, what is it that you're going to believe, and what is it that you're going to like, what are your values in life. And so for me, one of the things that recently I've been practicing is that there is no shortage of money in this world. Like, there is so much money in this world when you know how to help people in the right way. And I think for Latinas, and I think for a lot of people, we've been taught that, you know, money makes you greedy, or you shouldn't talk about money, or and just whatever the case around money is. Like, we've never really had a good relationship with money, I feel like, as a society. Like, nobody ever really teaches us about credit score in school. Nobody teaches us money management in school. And so that's one thing I want to talk about more on my channel, is just money management, how to have smart habits with money. And so if you guys haven't downloaded the app Acorns, I highly suggest it, you guys, because basically it's an app where you can choose your preferences, but every time that you spend money, it takes all the pennies and all the cents, I guess, from every transaction, and it automatically invests it into an account for you. So stuff like that is like really, really smart ways to save money and to be able to, you know, just put money away, because you never know when you're going to need it. But also, you should always be investing in your money. You know, what if one day you want to invest in something bigger, or, you know, whatever the case is, like, you always want to be investing money because you just never know. And what else? It also says, inaction breeds doubt and fear. Action breeds confidence and courage. And that's so true, because I think a lot of us like overthink. We overthink everything and we don't take action. I know for me, like, I used to be such a procrastinator and just push things off for no reason. Like, I couldn't even tell you or give you like an exact reason. I would just push things off. And then I just realized that if you took half of that amount of energy of you overthinking and put it into actually doing things, you would already be done with what you wanted to get done, baby girl. And so I always have to remind myself that every time that I'm overthinking, something Tony Robbins always says is like, let yourself sit in it for 30 seconds, 60 seconds, even 90 seconds. But then after that, like, it's time to get out of that state. Because the longer that you just sit in those thoughts, or sometimes just sit in that state of maybe like not so good thoughts when something is not going your way, the more that you're going to stay there. And I say that to say that this has happened with me so many times, where I'm having a bad day, I'm having a bad moment, and then it turns into a bad week, a bad month, a bad year. And before you know it, you wasted so much time because you let one little thing be a domino effect to so many other things. And so that's something that I've been having to rewire my brain on is, you know, if there's a bad moment, if there's something I can't control, how can you get out of that negative energy or that negative state and get back to your baseline identity? And that's something that I talk about in my last video, how your identity is going to determine the life that you have. And so this is just something that I'm super passionate about through mindset work. I feel like when I went to school for social work and psychology, I loved learning about the brain. And I'm not a scientist, but I have studied and I have researched a lot how our brain is like the most powerful tool we have, and the more that our thoughts dictate our life. So you can believe a thought, you can have a thought, it doesn't automatically mean that it's true. And so that's something that I struggled with a lot, because I would have these thoughts or I would have these feelings and I would say, well, I have to believe them because I'm obviously thinking them, or that's just who I am, or that's just me. And sometimes we have to keep in mind that our brain was never meant for us to thrive. Like, our brain was always meant for us to survive, because, you know, think about it, back in the day, we just had to either cook, we had to clean, we had to, you know, some of us, you know, back in the day, like, we were hunters. And I know we're not there anymore, but when you study psychology and when you study the brain, like, you realize that our brain is always trying to keep us in survival mode. You know, it's like that fear of flight. It's always trying to look out for danger and keep us at like the minimum, how do I say it, like the minimum standard of just trying to keep us safe. And so we have to rewire our brain to say, you know, I understand you're trying to keep me safe, brain, but it's time for us to think bigger. I hope this is making sense, you guys. I'm a huge nerd when it comes to all that stuff and neuroscience, and that's just something that I've been learning more about. And so I really wanted to share it with you guys because, like I mentioned, I always have sticky notes everywhere. And I feel like when you say things out loud, when you write them, you're more likely to manifest them and for them to become true. Something that we don't talk about enough, you guys, is being a woman in business is incredibly challenging. A lot of men don't want to listen to you. A lot of men don't want to listen to your advice. They think that you don't know what you're talking about. And so this could be for men and women, but at the end of the day, it just comes down to one, being a good leader, owning up to your mistakes, taking accountability. And so I wanted to end the video off with this, that being a woman in business is not easy. And a lot of the times I get on these interviews, I get on these calls, and I'm the only woman. It's a bunch of male-dominated spaces. The CEO is a male. The manager is a male. And so I used to look at it as a bad thing of like, they're just never going to take me seriously. And so now, as I'm getting older, as I'm growing into what I want to do in my life and my purpose and what I do with my work, I realize that sometimes God gives you a mission, not because it's going to be easy, not because it's going to be any less, how do I say it, harder, if I'm making sense, but because that mission is for you and you only. And so I love being involved in the business side of things. I love, learning how much companies are generating, how much, money they're producing in a profitable way every year. I love learning about business and that side of it. And this is what really turns my brain gears on. Like, I love just learning about businesses and, how to scale them, how to grow them, how to make their marketing stronger, how to make their branding stronger. And so for a long time, I used to feel guilty about the things that I would love or the things that I would feel passion in. And at the end of the day, you have to go all in on the things that you love, because if not, one day you're going to lose your identity and you're not going to like the things that you're doing anymore. And that happened to me last year, where I feel like I almost lost my identity again. And so this is just a reminder, you guys, that you have to be passionate in life about the things that you genuinely love, and be loud about it. Be loud about it. Take it from me as a shy girl that never wanted to speak up, never wanted to share her name, never wanted to create any attention for herself because I was the oldest. I wanted to take care of everybody else. Be loud, girl. Be freaking loud. So I'm going to end this video off with that. There's going to be more videos coming soon. I'm going to see how long I can keep it up to upload a video every single day, because my mind has just been growing and going in so many directions that I want to share these things with you, because I know it can help one of you girls, one of you Latinas, one of you women in business. I know that it can help you. But I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and let me know down below what you guys want to see next.